Good morning. These are the rocks that we rock hounded in Illinois, right across the Missouri state line on the Mississippi River. And I am going to start tumbling these. They're pretty smooth already, but they're not shiny at all. I still want to see if I can get them to look a lot nicer. So it's been about a year since I rock tumbled. We just didn't really go anywhere in 2020 to be able to rock hound. And so I bought all new grit. I am using this poly plastics from, I think I picked it up on Amazon. So it's got 4 steps. Usually if you've watched my other rock tumbling videos, I would tumble for a week each step, and there's 4 steps. But my husband joined a rock hounding group on Facebook, and a couple other rock tumblers gave him some suggestions. So we're going to try something different this time. So one of his rock hounding friends said that the first step, this first step is always the coarsest grit. He said this is the most important. And so instead of 1 week, we are going to tumble it from 30 to 45 days. The guy recommends between 30 and 45 days. But since most of these are already smooth and I'm a very impatient woman, I'm just going to do 30 days with the first step. And then, like I said, there's 4 steps, and the grit just gets finer and finer. And then, so the 4th one is this fine aluminum oxide, and I'm going to use that. But then he also recommended this even finer aluminum oxide. And so it's going to be actually 5 steps, technically 6 steps, because a lot of you have commented on the rock tumbling videos that the very last step should be a couple days tumbling. I think they're calling it burnishing in soap. And so I am definitely going to, I have never done that before, but so many people mention it. I'm definitely going to do the final step where it's burnished in soap. So this video is going to take a couple months, and I won't post it till the whole procedure is done. So for you, it's only going to be like 10 minutes, but know that this was over the months of July and August. So I fill this a little over half full. Probably not going to use all these rocks. Cover it with water, and then I think it was 2 tablespoons per pound of rocks. They have these handy instructions that tell you exactly how it is, but it's usually 2 tablespoons per pound of rocks. And I have the tumbler set up in the garage so it can run constantly 24/7 in the garage. And I will show the tumbler when I get in there. And we go in the garage so much that we check it once or twice a day just to make sure, because sometimes I don't know, it'll fall off the tumbler. It's only happened like once or twice, but it's a good idea to check your tumbler. But it's also a good idea to keep it in the garage because it makes a lot of noise and I can't hear it in the garage. I've got the step 1 grit in, and now I fill it with water, just enough to cover the rocks. You don't want it completely full because you need space for the water and the grit and the rocks to tumble around. So just enough to cover the rocks. All right, here is the tumbler. Just a basic tumbler. It's like 20, 30 years old. You can see it's even rusted, but I'm not replacing it till it breaks down, and it still works. It's got the little motor. It's well loved and well used. All right, I'm gonna hurry up. Oh, just gonna say, I need to hurry up and do this because I'm outside and a storm is rolling in. So I have been tumbling this step 1 for 30 days, and so I'm now getting ready to do step 2, and I'm just going to do that for 7 days. As you can see, it leaked. It's probably time to buy a new one of these. What do you call it? Rings. So these rings. Oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta hurry up. Okay. As I was saying, these rings can get stretched out over time, and so they do need to be replaced. And that's probably why I had some leakage, because it's just stretched out. So I will get a new replacement. So definitely rinse this stuff outside. You do not want this grit down your sink drain. Oh my God, these rocks look amazing. And then you want to rinse. You want to make sure your lid's good. You want to make sure your gasket loop thing is good. And this has to be, everything has to be completely clean. Otherwise, that could be another reason why you don't get a good seal, is if, you know, it's dirty around here. So I'm gonna rinse this really good, rinse these really good, put it back in here, and add the grit. I did not beat the storm. I totally got rained out. So as you can see, the rocks have tumbled down, and so there is less rocks. I'm not even half full. So what I'm going to do is, my polyplastics kit came with the ceramic media, and so you add the ceramic media to take up space to help tumble the rocks. And then I do 6 scoops of this and then fill it with water. I need 2 hands to do that, so I'll be right back. All right, I got the lid back on, I got the ring back on, it's all sealed. Now I'm gonna tumble it for 7 days. It has been 7 days since I used the step 2 grit. So now I'm going to, I already took off the rubber band seal inside. Now I'm gonna put that open. Remember, I added the little pellets to give it some more filler because it wasn't full enough. Oh wow, some of these are looking really good. Look at that. All right, ooh, that one. So rinse these off real good. Rinse that off real good. And then I'm gonna put step 3's grits in for another 7 days. All right, so we just added step 3, Prepolish 500 grit. Then add water. What was it again? Just so it covers the rocks, honey?
Correct.
A little more?
More.
Okay. All right, so remember, when you reseal it, make sure this rim is completely clean of all debris. I'm gonna wash this a little bit better, and this goes in there, and then you definitely need 4 hands to get this rubber band back on. All right, now it's on the tumbler where it will tumble for another 7 days. It's a week later, time to clean out the rocks. All right, so we only got technically 2 more stages left. We're gonna do the polish for another week, and then I'm gonna try something new. A lot of people have commented on my videos to do 24 hours of some kind of soap in it. I think they called it burnishing. And so that will be the final stage, but we still have 1 more week of the super fine polish. So let me get this rinsed off to see how good they look. They're still looking really good. All right, let me get them back in the barrel. Add the super fine polish. And 1 more week to go. So the next step, step 4 of this polyplastics, is the fine aluminum oxide. But we actually got even finer aluminum oxide that someone from a rock hounding group recommended. So if side by side they look the same. I don't remember what grit this is, but it is much finer than this one, and so we're going to skip this one and do the much finer one for the next 7 days. So I'm going to put my 6 tablespoons in there, cover it with water, and then put it back on the tumbler. Back on the tumbler for another week. It's It's been 10 days later. So it was tumbling for 10 days with the polished grit. Still gonna do one more stage. I'm gonna do a borax for 3 days. This is to give it like a final gloss. I have never done that before. I've had a lot of people recommend like doing a soap stage, and someone recommended borax. I happen to have some underneath my sink, so that's why I'm gonna use it. Use what I got. And remember, these little pellets are just ceramic pellets to help as filler. I'm gonna rinse them off real good. And we'll see what they look like dry, because they look really good wet. And the problem is I haven't been able to keep the shine once they're dry, and that's why everyone is recommending the borax stage or the soap stage, and then also why I used a finer grit for 10 days instead of the typical 7 days. All right, I put the rocks back in the tumbler. I put a couple sides so they were dry completely, and as you can see, they are shiny. So that fine grit for 10 days definitely works. We are still going to do the borax method. Robert just read online real quick, 2 tablespoons of borax, and I assume water, like the same level of water. Yeah. And then tumble that for 72 hours. So if you don't have borax, people also say what, ivory soap? Yeah. Or what was the other one? Durex, the what?
The one you just said.
Oh, Durex? I don't know. Anyway, Google it. There's different types of soaps you can use. But I actually had borax, so aren't they amazing?
That came out of the river.
I know. This is amazing. We're gonna, as soon as the water level goes down again, we are going back to our same spot and get another batch. And we're gonna get a bunch more this time, because like they break down so much that we definitely
look wet, but they're not.
I know, it's doing great. They're definitely, we need more for the tumbler, because you can fill it 3/4 full. And at one point it was 3/4 full, but they break down so much when you tumble them. So let me get the borax.
Is this like a shell one?
I think so. Isn't that amazing? It had like a shell growing around it.
Like a shellacious.
Okay, so what do we say? 2 tablespoons. He said 2 tablespoons of borax, tumbling it for 3 days. All right, here we go. So the original manufacturer of this machine, to get replacement parts, they're really old school. You have to write them a letter and fill out an order form. And so we didn't really want to take the time for that. So we went onto Amazon and just ordered these generic ones from this company. And I don't really want to give a bad review, but let me tell you, our tumbler.com came with like 7 of them, and I'm down to 1. So they break like every 2 weeks. So it's just not a good product, but for less than $10, what did I expect? So just know that you need a whole pack to do a long run of rock tumbling. All right, it has been 72 hours of tumbling it with the borax soap. So let's see what happens. Final stage. I'm gonna rinse these off really good, take it inside, and put all the rocks on a towel and give it a couple hours so they're completely dry. And I'll come back and we'll see what they look like completely dry. Hopefully they're still nice and shiny. 2 hours later, these rocks are completely dry, and look how shiny and polished they look. This is definitely like the best round of rocks I have ever tumbled. And this one, it had like shell in it, and it stayed. It didn't lose it with the tumbling process. Isn't that look amazing? And this little black one that looks like it's got gold flecks in it. I mean, I know it's not gold, but it sure looks like gold flecks in it. And even this bigger one that was probably too big to tumble, but I did anyway. Look at the inside. That's amazing. Just gonna show. So these were all just found on the Mississippi River. Or was it the Missouri River? I don't know. I have a video on it. It was off near some bridge. Look at that. We plan on going back next week. Oh, this one even matches my house. And get some more rocks to tumble. So definitely the stage, the super fine grit, the last polish stage, and the 3 days with the soap, I definitely think made a world of difference. So thank you everyone who made the soap comments, and Robert's rock hounding friend that told him about the super fine grit. Definitely made all the difference. I mean, these just look like something you'd buy at a rock shop, at a tourist shop, you know, where they have those stands where you get a bag and fill it with rocks for like $7.99. Amazing. And this green one. I picked up a lot of the clear quartz because I'm just always fascinated by quartz, but all the quartz ones looked amazing. But now, I think next trip I'll just focus more on just all kinds of the rocks, because even like this green one, look how good this green one turned out. I keep going back to this one. Just love how like you can start to see inside of it with the white outline. All right, now I gotta find a jar to put them all in. I even like the sound of them just all tumbling together. That's a lot. It's gonna need to be a big jar. There you go. Another successful round of rock tumbling. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you later.